It's time to make a wish for needy children at the Grand Dunes Golf Club with the Hadwin White Pro Celebrity Classic, June 20th through the 22nd. Stay tuned. Carolina People's coming up next. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at the Grand Dunes Golf Club in Myrtle Beach. We're focused on the Hadwin White Pro Celebrity Classic to be held here at Grand Dunes June 20th through the 22nd to benefit the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And we're visiting with Rodney Myles, an agent with Northwestern Mutual Financial Network and the co-founder of Make-A-Wish Pro Celebrity Golf Classic. Good morning, Moose.
Hey, Greg. How you doing?
Thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Thanks for coming out.
Incredible opportunity to kick off the week, obviously with you as the co-founder of the Classic, to kick off the week, thinking all week long. We'll have so many of the folks that have been instrumental in helping make this a success for Make-A-Wish and for all the children that truly benefit from the foundation. Thanks so much. Can we talk real quick about yourself? Were you originally from the area?
No, sir. I'm originally from St. Albans, West Virginia. I moved down here in 1997. Transferred with Cellular One. I was in that industry for about 9 years before I became an agent with Northwestern Mutual.
I got to ask the question. Moose, Moose, how did you get that nickname?
Well, Greg, I've had that nickname since about 5th grade. I got it when I was in Little League Baseball. Of course, I was always bigger than everybody else. Believe it or not, when I was in 6th grade, I was 6 feet tall. So I was a big kid.
In 6th grade, you were 6 feet tall.
Yeah. So, and I just, I really had a great Little League career. And one of the kids just gave me the nickname Moose, and it has stuck ever since.
That's amazing. So it wasn't from your experiences in college or in pro basketball?
It's just, it has really stuck since then. And when I, really had to go to work for a living, I had to put it on my business card because nobody knew my real name. They always knew me by my nickname. So it's just something that has stuck and has helped me out.
That's amazing. Can you tell the viewers a little bit about your experiences first in college and then later in professional sports?
Sure. Of course, to get me started was Fort Union Military Academy, which we've had some pretty good alumni from Fort Union, like Eddie George, Vinny Testaverde, Melvin Turpin, and just the list goes on of athletes that have gone through that organization. Mm-hmm. After that, I went to Radford University, played there, and then I went overseas and played a little bit in Spain, and tried to get on the European League, and which was real tough to do so. And then when Iraq invaded Kuwait, I was over there in '90. I decided that it was in my best interest and my safety to come on back home, and so I did. And then actually had to go to work for a living for a few years, and then in '94 I had a guy approach me to be a pro wrestler, and due to my size and so forth, and so I went through the schooling and all the stuff that it takes to be a pro wrestler, and tried to do that for a couple of years, and then when Hulk Hogan got back into the business, kind of ate up everybody's money. So it was tough, but it was a good experience. Taught me a lot of things, and I think it still helps me out today.
Moose, were you doing that base in Myrtle Beach, or was that?
No, I was in West Virginia doing it, and of course I traveled all over the country, all up and down the eastern coast, and some to the Midwest, and it was tough, juggling a career of being in the cell phone industry and also trying to get into being a pro wrestler.
When did you become? So you came down here to Myrtle with Cellular One.
That's correct.
Obviously, and then later came over to Northwestern Mutual.
That's correct. I just, had I've got a great story to tell with that, with my health and so forth, and I just wanted to touch as many people as I can to get in, to make sure that they're covered. And it's just been a great thing for me to do.
Mm-hmm. Now, Moose, obviously the focus today and all week long is on the Make-A-Wish Foundation and the Hadwin White Pro Celebrity Tournament. This is truly going to be a treat coming up in mid-June.
That's correct.
When did you first get active with Make-A-Wish?
Believe it or not, Greg, I went on a wish with Hulk Hogan in Logan, West Virginia. And to see that kid's face light up and just really put everything aside that was going on in his life the only person he focused on was Hulk Hogan, and man, that just touched my heart. And ever since that day, I've just had a huge involvement within the organization and trying to do as much as I can, because these kids are I refer to them sometimes as my kids, because they're near and dear to my heart, and I just have a huge place in my heart for these guys.
Mm-hmm. Moose, for a lot of viewers who may not be familiar with Make-A-Wish, can you give a little background on the Make-A-Wish Foundation, both of South Carolina and as well as nationally?
Yes. Well, Make-A-Wish started in the early 80s through a kid in Phoenix, Arizona, Greg, that wanted to be a state trooper. And, of course, he had a life-threatening illness and wanted to ride in a car of a state trooper, an Arizona state trooper, and that's how the first wish was granted to do so. They had him a little uniform made and took him out on a run and that sort of thing, and that's how it got started in the early 80s, and it just really mushroomed from there.
And Make-A-Wish's mission is to focus entirely on children with terminal illnesses, or
well, actually not life-threatening. Life-threatening is I guess the correct verbiage in today's world. Mm-hmm. But yes, we want to grant wishes to those kids.
And these are wishes of what are some examples of different wishes that have been granted?
Greg, I've been associated with wishes as just giving a kid a laptop computer, to a kid just wanting to meet his uncle. We had a kid just wanted to meet his uncle from the West Coast. He's never or anything, just to talk to him. We take a lot of those little things like that for granted. Mm-hmm. And, it's those types of wishes that are really emotional. Disney is still our number one wish. Mm-hmm. Michael Jordan is right in there somewhere. But it's the little wishes that really touch your heart, I think, that really makes you think how lucky we are to be able to go to work, walk, and do these things, and some of these kids can't even do that.
Mm. And Moose, how are the children referred to the foundation, and do the funds stay local when they're raised?
Yeah, well, they're referred one of three ways, or numerous ways, not just three ways, but they can be referred by their doctor, they can be referred by a family member, or somebody that just wants to stay anonymous. They call the 800 number, and then of course, they have to they have some criteria that we have to go through. We've got to interview the family. We've got to interview the child. We want to make sure that it's healthy for them to go on this wish. Some of the kids, of course, maybe want to do something extravagant, but the doctor won't let them. So we have a lot of those little things like that we have to go through. And yes, all of the money that we raise stays right here in Horry County. 97 cents out of every dollar, believe it or not. There's only four full-time people within the state of South Carolina. The rest of us are volunteers like myself that are out here helping the organization.
And obviously, the bulk of our viewers are in the PD and southeastern North Carolina. There's a Make-A-Wish chapter serving the PD as well as probably those parts of North Carolina.
That's correct. Mm-hmm. Just about every section of the state has a Make-A-Wish chapter.
Great.
And so we're trying to grow the chapter here in Myrtle Beach and PD area.
How about the process for selecting whose wish will be granted, Moose?
Of course, right now I think we have a list of about 120 kids, believe it or not, in the state of wishes that we need to grant. Mm-hmm. So, it's an uphill battle, Greg, to raise money for these kids, because you can see that we have more wishes than we have money. Mm-hmm. And the average price of a wish is about $5,500, believe it or not. So all you have to do is do the math to figure out how much money we have to raise in order to grant these wishes. So it's real important for us to get community involvement and corporate involvement to help this organization stay afloat.
That's why it's so exciting to see some of the sponsors that have aligned with Make-A-Wish and with this pro celebrity tournament.
Without these guys, it would really be hard for us to raise the money. And with some of the corporate sponsors like Hadwin, White, Coke, Better Brands, Kinko's, just the list goes on. And believe it or not, as we're out in the public, I've had people come up and give me a couple $100. Just wanting to give money to the organization. They know what I do, and that just makes me feel good.
Who are some of the key folks that have worked with you to organize the event?
Well, of course, the folks here at the Grand Dunes, Mike Boucheroni and his staff has really been instrumental in helping us getting this thing organized. The folks at that Burroughs and Chapin has been really helpful. Folks down at Kinko's on 21st Avenue here in Myrtle Beach, they provide everything that goes on paper basically for us. Man,
there's so many.
So many. I mean, it's just, we have just a huge support staff. So even some of our local board members here in Myrtle Beach have helped out. We have a lot of people that are involved with the Make-A-Wish volunteers and what we call wish granters as well that are involved. Without these folks, I don't think this event would be a success.
And how successful were you all last year with the inaugural event?
First year, we raised a little over $18,000 our first year, which, pulling off an event of the size that we had was kind of unheard of, which was enough to grant 2 wishes at that time. And this year we plan to, get 3 or 4 times that size as far as raising money. So this event will keep growing, and of course the list keeps getting longer of the wishes that we have to grant.
Mm-hmm. Some of the participants returning this year after being here last year?
After the event, Greg, it was real satisfying to know that I've had people come up to me that wanted to be involved in it just immediately after the event. Come up and said, Moose, put us in for next year. I had celebrities telling me that. I had golf professionals telling me that. So I know that we did the right things by doing that. And, it just makes you feel good. Makes you feel good that we pulled that event off.
Obviously, Moose, we're getting so close to the tournament now. Can you just give an idea of some of the exciting pros and celebrities that will be here?
Well, of course,
mid-June?
We try to give it a little South Carolina twist to this. We try to get some guys from Clemson and some guys from South Carolina. Jimmy Stuckey, George Rogers are some of the football players. Mike Ciani, which lives here locally. Ava Matea, the world billiards champion, was involved last year. Of course, all of the Carolina section PGA guys were involved, people from Pinehurst. We've even got people this year coming in from the Broadmoor, out at the director of golf from the Broadmoor in Breckenridge, Colorado, flying out here. So, and then we have Cindy Reed coming up from Sawgrass, TPC Sawgrass. You see her on the Golf Channel a lot. Mm-hmm. I've got Crawley from the Minnesota Vikings, Corey Miller from the Minnesota Vikings, also a South Carolina football player. Del Curry, Percy Hawkins, the list goes on. So a lot of these guys, the word's out, and they just, all of them have a little place in their heart with the Make-A-Wish Foundation and kids, and all of them have kids. We try to make this a family event. We want them to bring their kids and families and just have a good time here in Myrtle Beach for 3 days.
We have less than a minute, Moose, and real quick, I wanted to get for the viewers, let them know, obviously, let folks know that you'll be on at the end of the week to talk more. There's a number more questions I want to ask, but most importantly, will there be an opportunity for viewers or folks in the PD or here on the Strand to have an opportunity to come out, and who would they want to contact?
Yes. They can either contact Mike Busaroni here at Grand Dunes. His telephone number is 315-0333, or they can call me at my office, 839-0653. I can get them any of the information. There are a few spots available left for people to participate. We will be selling tickets to the gala on Saturday night, and we'll touch on it a little bit later. And we'll make sure everybody has an opportunity to come out here and see who they want to see.
Fantastic. We're visiting with Moose Myles, the co-founder of this year's Hadwin White Pro Celebrity Golf Classic, to be held here at the Grand Dunes in mid-June. Moose, thanks again for being with us this morning.
Thank you, Greg, for your help.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Stay tuned to Gary Hadwin coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome back to Carolina People. This morning we're at the Grand Dunes Golf Club. We're focused on the Hadwin White Pro Celebrity Classic to be held here at the Grand Dunes June 20th through the 22nd to benefit the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And we're visiting with Gary Hadwin, the president and owner of Hadwin White Pontiac Buick GMC Subaru and the title sponsor of the Hadwin White Pro Celebrity Classic. Good morning, Gary. Thanks so much for being with us this morning. Incredible this week to kick off, to think about all the focus June 20th through the 22nd. It's getting really close. Obviously, the opportunity to get you involved and so many of the presenting sponsors, Better Brands and Coca-Cola. It's a big commitment, Gary.
Well, we made a big commitment, so have some others, to make this a fantastic tournament and a great fundraiser for Make-A-Wish for the state, and we're very excited.
All the volunteers and recipients surely take their hats off to you and your company.
Well, we do the same for them.
Gary, you originally from the area?
Originally from Savannah, Georgia, born and raised in Savannah, Georgia. Mm-hmm.
What brought you up to Myrtle Beach? I'm
in the automobile business, as we know, and I had left Savannah in about 1980 and had a dealership up in North Carolina, lived up there, and decided to move back to Myrtle Beach and raise a family. And so we did that, and just being from the coastal area, North Carolina was beautiful, but it wasn't like home.
And speaking of family, you've got family here in the area?
My family is in Savannah, Georgia. I have 4 children, and 3 off at college right now, and 1 still at the house.
That's amazing. When did you establish your auto dealership there on 501?
August will be 17 years that we've been there on 501. We came in August of '86.
Okay. And how long had you been in the auto dealership prior to the founding and opening Hadwin White?
About probably 1979, I ventured into the new automobile business with my father-in-law, Don White. And prior to that, I had been in the aftermarket automobile business. We had an engine remanufacturing company and some power stores in Savannah. Mm-hmm. And so I was pretty well raised around the auto industry. And so it was just the new car automobile dealership was just a fit for me.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, Gary, just being around the industry doesn't guarantee success. What do you think has contributed to your success in this business?
People. We have a tremendous staff at Hadwin White that has been with us for numerous years. We pride ourselves on what we do and what we do with the community and for the community. And I think, in turn, the community has blessed us with a very profitable business.
Mm-hmm. Gary, obviously a lot of viewers are always asking, when you're visiting with someone like Gary Hadwin or some of the other folks highlighted this week, what got him to the top? What does he have in him that has really pushed him to stay ahead and constantly be on top of things?
Well, with the changing market now, you have to stay abreast of new future innovations and ways to do business, in which we have at Hadwin White. But I guess inspired me to continue to do well, to see the families that work for me and their families that be successful, and also contribute to different charity organizations that we were blessed to have a good dealership and to stay on the edge like that. So I guess we're just blessed.
That's fantastic, Gary. When did you first learn about the Make-A-Wish Foundations and the children that it serves?
Right. Well, I think Make-A-Wish, started, if I'm not wrong, in '84 in South Carolina. But actually, my first involvement was last year when we started this tournament. And I got involved with Make-A-Wish and seeing the wishes for these terminally ill children. And it was a very touching, moving experience. And I think my involvement right then, I kind of decided this is the avenue I like to travel on and help these children. And so we started actually last year and hope to continue this. We're going to grow this tournament, hopefully to be the largest in South Carolina. We've got a great facility here in the Grand Dunes, and they've been very accommodating. So we hope it'll grow, and this foundation will do well.
Gary, as the title sponsor, you all have made a huge commitment to this.
Right.
Obviously, seeing the results last year, seeing the thrill of the experience of the children, particularly Kyle and the other folks getting their wishes granted, that's a huge commitment. Is there anything, when you think about it in particular, that has driven that? Was it the experiences of seeing the children out here last year?
Yeah, that was a part of it. Also, in just having good support people around me that think the same way we do, and we like to give back to the community, and this is a tremendous way to grant these kids these wishes, and I think it's a great organization, and yeah, we're proud to step up and be the sponsor. title sponsor. Thank you.
Gary, did you play in last year's Grand Dunes? At that point, it was the Grand Dunes Pro Celebrity Classic.
We sure did. Had a great time. Had some teams in the tournament. Mike Bucciaroni did a tremendous job last year organizing this tournament, and as you'll see again this year, we've got a great facility here at the Grand Dunes. We're using the Ocean Club. It's probably one of the nicest facilities in the state, and I think through time this tournament will grow and will continue.
Gary, you think it was Mike and the crew here at Grand Dunes that probably made it the most impressive part of the 3-day event?
Well, as you can see here at the Grand Dunes, they do everything first class, and that's kind of like Hadwin White. We try to do just a little better, and our motto there sometimes, we're better than we have to be, and I think it shows here and shows in all the participants and sponsors here in this tournament.
When you think back almost a year ago, a little more than a year ago, over that 3-day event, what the memorable experiences, some of the memorable experiences over the event, can you think of for you the top 1 or 2 most memorable parts of the tournament? Of
course, seeing little Kyle get his little part of his wish granted last year was very touching. The tournament, just seeing the organization, the commitment level of the people involved in the tournament, it was just outstanding. Just outstanding.
Gary, what do you hope can be accomplished for this year's Make-A-Wish Foundation event?
Right. Well, I hope that we can, like I said, grow this to be one of the largest tournaments in the state, which in turn will give more revenue, that we can grant more wishes for these children, and so that's kind of the ultimate goal there.
Gary, what do you think motivates you and your company? Obviously, there's so many charities who come to you that you're involved in a heck of a lot of charities. You support a myriad folks throughout Oriya, Georgetown, I'm sure in other areas. Do you all get together as a team? Do your family get together to help decide some of the charities you're all going to support? What motivates you and your company to get behind Make-A-Wish?
Well, I have a management staff that has been with me of about 11 managers for just about the duration since I've been here, and we kind of have meetings and decide, what we would like to give to and what we think is a valuable asset for us to give to in this community. So it's kind of a intercompany philosophy on doing the right things for the right people, and I have my managers participate in a lot of that.
Gary, when you think about some of the benefits that you feel are derived from involvement with or support of community organizations, when you think through lots of different benefits, obviously there's so many potential opportunities.
Right.
What do you think are the prime benefits that are received from your involvement with the support of community organizations?
Well, I think with all businesses that giving to these charities in turn will help fuel your business, and it's kind of a scratch my back, scratch your back, and everything works for everyone, and that's about it.
Gary, when you think about inspirations in your life, when you think back to the early involvement of getting into a dealership, obviously in the late 70s, growing up in Savannah,
right.
You think about folks who've been inspirational in your life. Can you pinpoint someone in your life who's been your greatest inspiration?
Well, I had a great family support, a loving mother and father, which contributed to that. But I had a father that was involved in the automobile business. It taught me a lot of what I know today, and as I look back, yes, probably my father. He's kind of given me some shoes to fill, and I'm trying to do that.
You want to get out and play golf today, Gary?
Oh, it's a beautiful day. Would love to today.
Absolutely. We're visiting with a man who was inspired by his family at an early age. His father inspired him, his entire family, and giving back to the community is something he learned at an early age, something he's taken into today and going forward. Gary Hadwin, the title sponsor of this year's Hadwin White Pro Celebrity Tournament, Grand Dunes Golf Club. Thanks again for being with us this morning, Gary.
Enjoyed it.
Stay tuned to more Carolina People coming up next. We want to thank Moose Myles and Gary Hadwin for making today's Carolina People such a great success.